reason I'm telling you, mostly I'm bragging, but the reason I'm telling you is what I was thinking about during this terrible sex. I was thinking about the Victorians, because, well, you know this, they were idiots. The Victorians, they didn't believe women could enjoy sex physiologically. They thought that men enjoyed it, that women only put up with it if they wanted to have children. Their sex advice at the time for women was, lie back and think of England. And what occurred to me was, well, maybe that was appropriate advice then. Maybe you could be like, oh, this sex is rubbish. Oh, we've got an empire. And it might cheer you up. But it doesn't work now. It makes it much worse. Oh, this sex is rubbish. Oh, God, the economy. Eject yourself from me right now. We need to find out what a Bitcoin is and how to get one. When I was a child, I'm sure like lots of you, I thought that being rich was a sign of being a really bad person. I thought that they were morally corrupt, but I've changed my mind. And the reason is, I had a job last year that flew me business class. I never thought I'd get to go into the business class part of the aeroplane. If any of you haven't been in business class, please never believe anyone who tells you it's not magical. Because people lie. I used to ask the other comedians, I go, oh, well, what's it like in there? And they go, oh, it's just a bit more leg room and you don't have to queue. Lies? There's no safety announcement. They don't do a safety announcement in business class. Somebody just hands you a glass of champagne and says, your money will save you. So good. And when the pilot comes on, it's the same pilot. You don't get a better one. It's the same guy, but he says different things over the tannoy. He still says the altitude and what time you're going to arrive, and then he says, I love you. And you know the scary thing about flying when you're in economy is turbulence, because it shakes the plane. It feels like it's going to fall out of the sky. In business class, you've got a little bed with a blanket, and the turbulence just rocks you to sleep. And then every couple of hours, the most beautiful woman you've ever seen or smelled, she comes over, she strokes your hair. She says, are you hungry? Yeah. Ah. And then she feeds you from her breast. And it tastes like Snapple. And then she says, back to sleep, my little sky baby. And it's the best. It's the best. So, to become celibate, I had to break up with somebody. I'm aware this is a really universal experience. We've all broken up with people. It's so horrible. I'm particularly bad at it because I get aroused by men crying. Obviously, men are told a lot of very destructive things in our society. I hate that men are told they're not supposed to cry. This idea that it's not macho, you're supposed to suppress your feelings. Like, no, you cry more. You look gorgeous. You look so lovely. Your eyes get all bulbous and shiny, and your lips get all rubbery. I did that to you. I did it. And then it's so hard to leave, but I did manage. And what I did after my breakup was actually very cliche. I went on a spiritual yoga retreat for my healing. And the problem with this spiritual yoga retreat was where it was, what it was, and who was there. It was a disaster. Where it was, a place called Costa Rica, which you will be shocked to find out isn't in Spain. It's not in Spain, something I found out on the aeroplane when they said it was going to take 14 hours to get there. What route are you taking? Because Costa Rica isn't in Spain, where it should be, it is in a terrible place called the jungle. Now, I'm very pro-jungle in theory. Like, my entire life I've been saying things like, save the Amazon, and what's the name of another jungle? But you don't have to actually go there. It's where the spiders live. It's awful. That's my second worst ever holiday. My worst ever holiday, I went to Corfu when I was 14. There's a very creepy man who worked at the resort. He couldn't speak English. Whenever he saw me, he would make seagull noises to try and get my attention. So that I would look at him, and he started following me around. He knocked on the door of the apartment one day and went, and I told my mum that he was trying to get me, and she told me to stop being arrogant.